Hey guys, it is Jordan Mulligan from the Mulligan Brothers, and today's interview highlight is with Ben Francis about taking risks comfortably and basically talking about fear in business. It's, for me, a subject that needs to be covered a lot. Today's video is sponsored by mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Inspire Change t-shirts, and the Not a Journal is now on the website and it's live. Go check it out. Let's jump into the highlight.
So in those early days as well, a lot of businesses fail. It's like this chaotic period. Have you got any advice for people who are sort of in that sort of stage?
I think you're right, and I do think a lot of factually so, numbers say that most businesses will fail in the first couple of years. And I never had a fear of failing, and I think that's really important to mention. And I think that massively worked to our advantage because we were so happy and so comfortable taking that gut-led decision so quickly and instinctively. I think that really helped, because there might have been other companies that were in the same position as us that were umming and ahhing as to whether or not they should do certain things, and we just did it. And I think that's so powerful, because I think you can spend so much time worrying about failure or this, that, and the other, and before you know it, it's too late. Whereas I think we were just incredibly brave and tenacious in our pursuit of where we wanted to get to, and I think genuinely that made a huge difference to how quickly we've managed to grow the business. And I think the other thing we've been able to do is really grab ourselves around the scruff of the neck and just fix up. So going back to that Black Friday example, there was never a moment where we just moped and wallowed in self-pity. We were like, right, we have fucked this up terribly. First and foremost, we're going to fix it, and then we're going to make sure it never happens again. And I think that's really important as well.
It's good that you took ownership of it as well. Yeah, it's really good. Early on, you're taking, I think I heard you say a number, 500,000 first 2 years. Is that about right? Is that
yeah,
right?
It was something. It was like $250,000 revenue in the first year, and I think it went up to about $500,000.
And you're still working at Pizza Hut for a large portion of that. What I think a lot of your success for Gymshark is, or the success of Gymshark is the fact that you just carried on reinvesting that money. Where does the temptation come in, how important is it as well to not give into that temptation to go, right, I could have a Beamer, I could have a nice car, I could get a nice house. How did you resist that?
Again, I just absolutely loved what I did. I know what you're saying is there is this temptation of, so I worked at Pizza Hut well beyond that. It was when we did our first event, so we were in the year between $250,000 to $500,000 revenue. So, and to be honest, I kept it quite quiet. It was at the stage where I don't think people would have believed me if I'd have told them anyway. So do you know what I mean? There's no point in really going on about it. To be honest, I didn't feel that temptation massively. We reinvested everything that we possibly could into the business to grow it to where it was. And I knew the day that the business started that there wasn't going to be a penny taken out of it for several years. And I think it goes back to that why. I just loved it, and I wanted to create the best brand I possibly could, and that was a genuine ambition of mine, which is why I think there was no desire of me to sort of rinse the business for money. The other thing I would say is, after a few years, I had managed through fortune and probably the odd great decision along the way to build an incredible team around me. So as the business got up to the stage where it could start, it genuinely had an opportunity to be a large-scale business. So I think we were doing maybe $4 million in revenue, which at the time seemed massive, but compared to where we are now today, it's very much the startup phase. And I met two guys, one called Paul, one called Steve. Met them in the gym, funnily enough. And then there was this bit where they sort of sat me down and they said, do you want to be the biggest brand in Bromsgrove, or do you want to try and make this into a global brand? And obviously I'd taken every risk possible to get it to that point. So I wasn't at that point going to go, right, I'm going to settle down here. And I said I wanted to be a truly global brand. And that was powerful as well, because again, when you've got the opportunity to create a global brand and a global community, I'm not going to take an extra few $100 here and there just so that I can have a slightly nicer car. My ambition is to make this into a truly global brand. So again, having my eyes locked on that vision, I think really helped as well.
That's what I want to speak about, the steps of growth in terms of the revenue. Just what you think was required at the time, and tell me if the things are the same. So the first one will be £0 to £100,000. What sort of What do you have to do? What's going through your head at that point? What's different about that?
So as an entrepreneur, I think it's, so entrepreneurs start businesses, right? And it's very important for people to realise that what is required of someone that starts a business on day one is very different to year 1, year 2, year 3 and year 4. And I've experienced this firsthand, where the first couple of years were so tough and gritty, and it required, courage and charisma and a willingness just to ask for what no one else would ask for and just go the extra mile. And quite frankly, for that first couple of years, my role was to grab the business by the scruff of the neck and drag it to where I think it should go to by any means necessary. And if that meant that someone said, no, you can't do this, then my job for the first few years was to say, I don't care, I'm going to get it to where I think it should be by hook or by crook. Then after a while, when the business grows, you start bringing in people and creating a team around you. Now, if you've done that right, those people should be better than you in different areas. In which case, you then need to realise that the way that you were for the first couple of years, the way that I acted for the first couple of years has now expired, and I need to essentially evolve into the next level of entrepreneur or leader. So dragging the business to where I want it to go, regardless of what people say, when you've got great people around you, is completely and utterly the wrong thing to do. So I had this sort of very introspective moment of, oh my God, everything I've been so far and everything I've done now no longer works or is valid. So I had to recreate myself and start to educate myself and learn how I can truly develop the business. So during that period, it was a bit of, okay, there was sort of a halfway house. There was certain bits where I would have to, sort of push my opinion or authority significantly more than what I ever would today, to try and really embed the Gymshark brand, the culture, where we wanted to go, and really just imprint on people where I think this brand will go. But equally listening to those guys and the team around me when they knew better than me. And then in that third phase, as the business gets to where we are today now, I then go from that to being much more around thinking outside of the box, thinking far ahead, and ultimately having to be as articulate as I can in the vision, because I'm now not communicating it to just myself, or I'm not communicating it to 5 or 6 people around me. I'm communicating it to hundreds, if not thousands or hundreds of thousands of people around the world. So now my role has changed massively. If I look from day one, drag the business to where I think it should go by hook or by crook, to now articulate the vision and work together in building an incredible team that is, self-reinforcing and takes the business to where we all think it should go together. So I think it's so important as an entrepreneur and as a founder to be flexible and be comfortable in reinventing yourself and educating yourself in things that you're not good at. Because if you do just stay the same, then I think you'll become very one-dimensional, and I just don't think the business will be built in the right way for the long term.
Is there a defining sort of, maybe not revenue, but like thing that highlights when you need to make that change?
Yeah, so I mean, the Black Friday example, so just failure certainly helps. So that was an incredible moment of, oh my God, there are no foundations in this business. And the reason there's no foundations in this business is because I haven't been smart enough to put them in. And that is completely my fault and no one else's. Sometimes people will come up with incredible ideas and you'll probably think that they're wrong, and then you'll realize that you were wrong. And then it's sort of, sometimes you'll say it, sometimes you won't. And then you'll sort of gradually realize that the people around you are brilliant in ways that you aren't, and I think that's important. But yeah, there is the odd occasion, but ultimately I think it really is down to just being as self-aware as you possibly can be and understanding what you are good at and not. So the other thing I would say is, for the first few years, my thing was, I don't care about my weaknesses, I'm only going to focus on my strengths, and I'm going to bring people around me to essentially fill in those gaps and those weaknesses. And now the team around me is just as talented as what they are. I've got the luxury of being able to not only focus on my strengths, but then when I want to as well, work on my weaknesses and develop as well. So I think that's been really powerful for me as well.
And there you go. Another amazing piece from Ben Francis. And I think definitely someone, and it's someone I promote all the time. Go follow Ben on Instagram, on his social media platforms. Very nice, welcoming guy. He's there to help other entrepreneurs. So go give him a follow. He's definitely worth it for the wisdom that he has. And yeah, somebody I look up to. Today's video was sponsored by MullenRubbers.com, where the Not a Journal is now available, which is a success journal, ironically named, but it's basically a simple journal to get shit done. And this will last me a full year. And thank you for the support, literally. It's been amazing since Christmas till now to have the support with the merchandise, the t-shirts, the books that are now here. Thank you. You're making this happen, so it is much appreciated. Guys, go inspire some change. That is the most important thing of this movement. It's about, you see this video, it makes you do something, lead by example, show people what you're capable of doing, help somebody out, and go inspire some change. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oh yeah, follow me on Instagram, @JordanMulliganRiver. Peace.